Watch and burn.
Hey everybody, so tonight I want to talk about Haujobb's 1996 album. It's actually the only record of theirs that I'm familiar with, and that is Solutions for a Small Planet. I think first off, what I have to say about this album is that despite the fact that it came out in the mid-90s, this thing's kind of timeless sounding. I mean, when I'm revisiting it like I do every so often, because A, this record kicks ass, and B, it takes me back. I got this record through this chick I met through America Online, through the 50 free hours we were all obsessing over via either a 3.5 floppy disk or a CD-ROM. And I met her in a chat room. Oh my God. And then once we met in a chat room, we started exchanging electronic mail. And I'm telling you, when you had computer speakers plugged in and AOL was like, "You've got mail," you felt like the fucking president of the United States of America. You notice how I'm Canadian and I never say the Prime Minister of Canada? You felt like the fucking president of the United States of America. I've got mail. That's right. It's from a chick too. Fuck you. And so that was rad. Now me and her, we never really dated. She was way smarter than me, and kind of pulled that one off a few times. I dated a few chicks over the course of who were smarter than me, and I almost dated her, but she lived in Mississauga, I lived in Pickering, and it just never happened. But nonetheless, she is responsible for introducing me to this album. She's also responsible for introducing me to Godspeed You Black Emperor, but that's this whole other thing, because I'm not really into Haujobb. I only really know this record, but I worship Godspeed, and I owe all of that to her. Like I said at the start of this, I think my favorite thing is, aside from the fact that the songs are just as much fun now as they were then, I love how the production, the songwriting, the vibe, everything, it doesn't feel like it's stuck or trapped in the 90s. Like, for example, when I listen to, like, say, Korn's first two albums, their self-titled or Life is Peachy, they're so 90s sounding that aspects of them I just can't get into because they just sound so dated. And when I listen to like other electronic music, like say something from Chris Sheppard, he was a DJ, very popular at that point, but some of his stuff, especially the shit that he did a couple years later with Love Inc., with Broken Bones. Broken Bones is a rad song, but it sounds like the 90s. You know what I mean? Everything sort of had that S Club 7 vibe at this point, or I Mother Earth, or Our Lady Peace. Hi! You know? And this doesn't. This is as timeless as like the 9 Inch Nails with their Pretty Hate Machine. That record came out way back in like '89, and that record does not sound like the 80s. That record does not sound like the 90s. That record sounds like something from the 9 Inch Nails, which is completely timeless. And that's how I feel about this album. The artwork complements the music. The music does such a good job of just creating this sort of dystopian, sort of cold as fuck, like android-ish world where it's like the vocals are very subdued and they're very controlled, but they're so distant, and so there's such a overwhelming sense of sterility that it just feels very Blade Runner-like. And that fits here because Haujobb is a slang for skin job, which is a nod to what the humans used to call the replicants in Blade Runner. And the girl at the time, Karen, she knew I was obsessed with Blade Runner. And she was like, "Oh, dude, have you ever heard of Haujobb? Because Haujobb is skin job, and that's a nod to Blade Runner, blah, 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 blah." And I was like, "Oh my God, no way, dude." And so because I love Blade Runner, these guys love Blade Runner, it seemed like a natural fit. And I didn't have to like shoehorn myself into liking the record for a week, whereas like after the week, I'd be like, "Oh, fuck this, I'm done, I don't care. This sucks." This doesn't suck. This record is amazing, and it has aged so incredibly well. Like Antimatter's on here, Depth's, Journey Ahead, The Cage Complex. It's a good way to spend 6 minutes. I mean, the whole thing plays out perfectly, but those were my favorite songs. And it does seem, though, that this record does work better as a complete package because it allows you to sort of get lost in the musical world building, in a sense, I guess. Yeah. So I'm going to stop talking. So thank you so much for hanging out with me for almost 5 minutes while I discussed Haujobb's absolutely killer 1996 album, and that is Solutions for a Small Planet. Like always, if you like this record or you like this review, don't forget to do something nice for somebody. But please, most importantly, don't forget that the world is actually a better place because you are in it. I'm gonna go. Have a good night.